All right, I like the sound of that. Okay, settle down, everybody. Welcome to the Ballistic Report. I am your talented host, Ike Moore, and this is the show where we break down pop culture. I know we have a lot to talk about, but first things first, we finally reached our year-end goal of 50 subscribers. Not only did we do that, we went over by 3 people. I can't thank you guys enough for all of your support this year. It's because of you we were able to do it. But a lot of other wonderful things happened this year, and I'm counting down the top 3 stories that I covered on this show in the year 2015. So, for the last time in 2015, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Let's start off with number 3, which was the debut of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The reason this is such a big deal is not only was Stephen taking over for a late night legend like David Letterman, this marked the end of a lot of late night transitions. I mean, think about it. With Trevor Noah replacing Jon Stewart and James Corden replacing Craig Ferguson, a lot of late night changes were going on, and with Stephen taking the reins of The Late Show, it marked an end, and it pretty much gave us a scope of what late night will look like in the years going forward. I mean, you heard me talk about it earlier this year, but I absolutely am a fan of Stephen Colbert's Late Show. I think it's so different from a lot of the other late night shows as far as Fallon and James Corden. Sure, he's not doing the viral videos. Sure, he's not incorporating Twitter like all the other hosts do. But in my opinion, he doesn't need to do that. To me, Colbert works best when he focuses on what he knows, and that is messing with politics. And that's why The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is my number 3 favorite story of 2015. Coming in at number 2, you guys knew this was coming, the rise of my guy The Weeknd. What can I say about this man that hasn't already been said? This man has had a tremendous 2015. It wasn't so long ago where this guy was just on the underground and not a lot of people knew him. But now in 2015, everybody knows him. And that's thanks to his new album, Beauty Behind the Madness. That's a great title when you think about it. Beauty Behind the Madness. But anyway, thanks to that album, it really raised his profile and it made a lot of people fans of him. But like I said in the review of his album, a lot of old school fans were kind of complaining that he kind of went mainstream and he didn't stay true to his sound. But like I said before, with his newfound fame, he's just trying to see what worked in the past and what he can bring going forward. And that's what an artist needs to do, is change with the times. So that's why The Weeknd is at number 2 of my favorite stories of 2015. But before we get to number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. First of all of the superhero movies that came out in 2015, Avengers Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. They totally broke the box office and made for great entertainment during the summer. Also, we have to commend Trevor Noah on his smooth transition into The Daily Show. Sure, he still has ways to go, but I truly believe once we get into the meat and potatoes of the 2016 presidential race, you'll really see his true talent come out, and I can't wait. Also, a big thanks to everyone involved in my favorite movie this year, Straight Outta Compton. What can I say? I gave it pretty much a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for the Blu-ray to come out so I can re-experience the greatness that it was. And also, you cannot mention 2015 without mentioning Empire. It's hard to believe that a show like this just debuted last January and it made such a big impact in only 1 year. That's pretty impressive, and it's truly, truly deserved. All of these people give their all in every episode, and I can't wait to see where it goes going forward. So longtime fans of this show will probably think that the number 1 story is going to be my rants on BET and Nicki Minaj, but it's not. And I'm going to tell you for 2 reasons. For one thing, I want to keep this list very positive and talk about the things I love. And B, I think I kind of said what I needed to say about these 2. I'm sure in 2016 they'll change my minds and maybe I'll have more positive things to say about them, especially BET. I'm really looking forward to seeing what more new creative ideas I hope they have under their sleeves. But for my number 1 story, I want to talk about something very near and dear to my heart. And that's the return of a comedian that we all missed very much. My man, Tracy Morgan. Words can't describe the happiness I feel for this man. Let me just give you a rundown of everything this man has been through this past year. First, you had that very emotional interview he had on the Today Show back in June, which was actually the first story I ever talked about on this show. And you could see in his eyes, it was just really hard for him. He was glad to be there, but at the same time, he was still hurting. A few months later, he's off the cane and he marries his longtime girlfriend. Next thing you know, he's on the Emmy stage, making a surprise appearance at the award show, looking better than ever. But for me, the icing on the cake was him coming home to host Saturday Night Live in October. That night, he was back in rare form, and he was back doing what he was put on this earth to do, making people laugh. So of all the things that we saw this year, both good and bad, nothing warmed my heart more than to see this man back on top. And that's why Tracy Morgan is my #1 favorite story of 2015. And that will do it for another edition of the Ballistic Report. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, all of my social media outlets are in the description box below, and I will see you guys in 2016. I hope this new year brings you all of the happiness in the world. Until 2016, I've been your talented host, Ike Moore, reminding you it's okay to be ballistic as long as it's done responsibly. Happy New Year, Internet!